Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I have a book haul to do today for Goosebumps books. I may or may not have a thing like Goosebumps book haul this weekend because there's something that's supposed to come Saturday. I don't know if it'll come or not. I'm not really sure. The mailing system is really messed up in the US. They changed our routes a couple of years ago, so some things that should come directly to where I am get sent off to other areas and then finally come here even though they were already here. It's really weird, dude. Anyway, we have a big Goosebumps hardcover book haul thing today. The first book, yeah, pretty much now that I think about it, every single book is a hardcover here. I have some really cool picks, and then I have some mind-blowing stuff to show you, which completely surprised me, but is also something that could be possibly a very good thing for the collection, you know? So where do I start? I'll start with the first book that I got this week. Now, I do have a lot of other things coming. This was actually very cheap for this order, or these couple of orders here. It was kind of cheap. I've been waiting on some of these things for a couple of weeks now. They finally showed up after not really getting any notice from thrift books that they were finally coming. But I have them now, and I'm really excited to show them to you. One in particular is really weird. Well, a whole bunch of them are weird, but we'll get there in a moment. Anyway, for right now, the first book that I have is the original hardcover of It Came From Ohio, My Life as a Writer by R.L. Stine, as told to Joe Arthur. I don't know who Joe Arthur is. It might be the main character of the book or something. Yeah, this is kind of cool. You see the monsters right there, and then you flip it this way and you don't see anything. Remember when they did this in the 90s on VHS tapes and stuff? How cool was that? Really cool little book. I haven't read this before, but I know it's like partially autobiography and partially not, where it's about R.L. Stine telling a story of his life and how he came to be a writer and stuff. I'm curious, since the book itself looks like it has the cover design for like Goosebumps with the goo and the juice and stuff, I'm kind of curious whether they'll ever cover Fear Street at all, or even mention that for that matter. It'll be interesting. I'm very curious about that book. I have the newer reissue of that book. I was kind of surprised that got a reissue and that the Tim Jacobus book did not. Because there was also a book for the artist who did about 60 of the original 62 book covers. I think Tim Jacobus also did the book covers for Series 2000 as well. I'm not really sure, but I believe that's what I remember reading. So there's an original book for the R.L. Stine, My Life as a Writer. That's what I just showed you, but I also have the reprint, like I said. I don't have a paperback of the original book that I just showed you in hardcover, so I might pick that up at some point just as part of the collection. I don't really know. It's kind of hit or miss. It might happen, it might not. Another book that I got that is in really, really bad shape, and I paid like a good $10 for this, so I'm kind of pissed off about it a little bit. It's more expensive than the book when it came out back in the day. Even if you account inflation from now, it's still more expensive than what the book would have been back then, and kind of pisses me off a little bit. It is a library edition hardcover of one of my favorite Goosebumps books from the old classic 62 book era series, and it is an absolute torn up mess. I'll show you really in detail how messed up it is. Attack of the Mutant. I got this off Thrift Books. I think I picked up an acceptable copy or a good copy, and this is what it came. I'm not used to getting books like this from Thrift Books. I was kind of surprised. It might not look that bad right now, but look at the spine, dude. It is absolutely destroyed. Sticker, of course, which I'm fine with. I don't care, but there's like stains on the cover and stuff. The G right here is almost completely covered up. Most of my Goosebumps hardcovers I've been showing you guys have not come like this. And I bought a lot of those from eBay, more than actually straight from Thrift Books. Now, the You Can't Scare Me book was a Thrift Books book, so was the Haunted Mask hardcover that I picked up. So it makes kind of sense to me why those would have come the way they came, but this is just absolutely torn up, man. I'm really kind of bummed out about that, because I love, Masked Mutant, and I love Attack of the Mutant as a book. This is a very heavily used... It must have been somebody's favorite at the old library this came from. I'm glad to have it, because it is a hardcover, and it is hard to find. The more that I've talked about this here on the channel, I have never seen people post almost anything in their videos of their Goosebumps collection of hardcovers, or library editions is what they're called. I haven't seen anybody mention these things. I mean, I've seen people mention hardcovers here and there. I thought maybe it was something they did for like the first 10 books of Goosebumps back in '92 when it first started. Apparently that's not the case. There was library editions, and I'm about to show you some proof of that with some very weird stuff. I have about 8 or so more books to show you. The first one I got was a book that I was very excited about. I did not expect it to come the way it did. And then I got the big box today with a bunch of other books that had the same condition, I guess. That book that I got the other day, well, it was actually yesterday that I got it, and it started this whole weird thing that I can't comprehend right now. I understand now what these are. I did not understand yesterday or most of today what they were until I opened up the book itself a little bit ago before this video and found out what it is. Look at this massive copy of Night of the Living Dummy. For scales purposes, I'll show you, because this might not look that big because I have big hands. Look at this. This is a regular sized Goosebumps book compared to this freaking jumbo sized book. Yeah. I got this yesterday in the mail, and I thought somebody was pulling a prank on me. I thought it was like a piñata or something. I didn't know what this was when I got it. It's the book. It's the actual book. Apparently this was a library binding edition that people had back then. It's in fantastic condition, aside from some page wear up here that it's kind of beat up a little bit, but the actual cover and everything, for such a fan favorite for Goosebumps, especially back in 92 and 3 when this came out, for such a fan favorite, you think this would have been torn up a whole lot more. The inside is not. There's like no writing on the inside, aside from some, library cards and stuff, which I find fascinating because I like that. It kind of makes it more real, I don't know. But every single book I got today came like this. Apparently what this is a large print edition. I did not realize that's what it was. It's massive, dude. Freaking massive. When I opened it up, I couldn't believe how big the paper was and how big the font was. This is a straight up real hardcover, like when a new Stephen King book comes out and it has like the big like $30 hardcover. That's what this is, basically. I don't know how expensive this would have been when it came out. I got it for like 15 bucks. And I think I paid less, actually. I might have paid like 10 bucks for this. But I was really surprised when I opened that box, because I thought somebody had accidentally sent me 2 books, or maybe the wrong book or something like that. No, I got the right book, it's just I didn't realize it was going to be tall. So apparently there are 2 types of hardcovers out there, for the original series at least. There is large print, and there are the regular ones the size of the Attack of the Mutant I just showed you. So if you're going to start collecting Goosebumps hardcovers, be ready to find that out. Remember to keep that in the back of your head, to ask questions before you buy things. Now, that does not mean that I regret buying this or the things that came in the mail today from eBay. I'm glad I have these because I have never heard of this. I've never seen a picture of this online. I did not know I was getting this. I can't guarantee if you go to Thrift Books you'll get the same thing I got. I can't. So, this could be something cool as a little random collector's item thing that I never see people talk about. I never see people have it in their collections. If you're a big collector, it's kind of cool. If you're a big Slappy fan like myself, it's cool to have this. I don't think I'll ever get 2 and 3. Not a Living Dummy 2 and 3, because I love those as well. But yeah, Not a Living Dummy. I'm going to put that right here, actually. Now, again, like I said, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more books. I have 8 of these big old hardcovers like this. This order came today. Everything that I'm about to show you came in its own box set today. I just saw it pop up on eBay for like 30 bucks the other day, and I grabbed it in a heartbeat. Because there was some things in here that I thought were cool. Well, there was one in particular that I know was a big, big one that everybody loves. Again, I did not know all these were massive, jumbo, large print edition library binding hardcovers. So I was a little taken aback by these massive Goosebumps books that keep showing up at my house. It's almost like a weird Goosebumps story, like I bought what I wanted and it didn't come the way I wanted it to. It's like a weird theme message there. Anyway, the first one here is Goosebumps number 8, The Girl Who Cried Monster. This is very popular. I remember, I think it was Goosebumps Ozzy fan that constantly talks about how good this book is, and I haven't read it myself yet, never read it at all. Maybe I'll get around to it at some point, but at least I can show this off in the review at some point, God willing, if I get around to finishing it, and then doing a video, if YouTube is still alive, if I'm still alive. This is cool. Very, very good condition. This one is perfect. There's not a stain on it. There's no writing inside of it. Every bit of the pages are completely fine. Looks fantastic. So I'm really excited about this just as a collector, even though I haven't read the book yet, because my paperback copy was not in the best condition, I think, from what I remember of getting this. This one here is one of the ones I was talking about that is a big fan favorite, at least the book and the TV 2-parter episode thing. I've already reviewed the book, the original book, the paperback, and I also did the video for the 2 episodes as a review. So I have this hardcover now. I'm excited to have it because of collector's reasons, The book I love for the most part until the ending. I hate the plot twist at the end of this thing, but I'm excited to have this. This is one of the reasons I grabbed this box set, or not box set, but this lot is what you would call it on eBay. If you want to look up for a bunch of Goosebumps books at one time, go on eBay and type in Goosebumps Book Lot, L-O-T. You'll get a whole bunch of results of, you know, $30 and $50 for big boxes of books. And it's a cool thing if you're somebody who's new to collecting, or there's a certain book you're looking for that you can't find by itself. This could be a good option for you. So I just thought I'd throw that out there for you now, since I don't have to collect any more books, really, aside from some hardcovers. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Yeah, this is a really, really popular one. The only thing that's wrong with this book is on the back. There's some kind of weird, like, sticky thing, but I can't get it off. I tried to get it off, it won't come off. But Welcome to Camp Nightmare. I have that now in a giant, large print hardcover. And again, I don't love the book like a lot of people do. I like it. I like it a lot. I love most of it, actually, I would say. But it's not like my favorite. It's not like in my top 10 or anything for the original classic 62-book series. It's a pretty good book. Pretty great book, for the most part. And it's cool to have that as part of the collection. This one is not in the best condition, from what I can tell. It has some little things here, like a sticker on the back and some poke marks in different parts of the cover, especially towards the bottom. It seems like somebody tried to write or like do an art picture or something. They stabbed like a cloud into the picture through, you know, using this as an actual thing underneath the piece of paper they were drawing on. Anyway, The Ghost Next Door. I have a hardcover of this now. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there's one of these jumbo hardcovers for like Attack of the Mutant. From what I can tell inside of this book, well, you know what, I'm going to look at, because this is number 10. I'm curious about what it says on this. From what I can tell, according to this one and the previous ones that I looked through all of these that I have here today. Apparently the only ones that were ever made into a large print edition were the first 10, which is very fascinating. That's like the first year of Goosebumps, and then they stopped doing that. So I'm also curious, are there any paperback large print editions of Goosebumps books out there? If there are, please let me know down below if you happen to own one. I would just like to know. I don't want to buy it from you, I just want to know. Fascinating information. The more I look into the books, the more I find stuff like this. So, Ghost Next Door. It's pretty cool. I've read this a couple of times in my life, and I remember the plot twist got me the first time I read it, and then the second time I read it, I was like, I already know the twist, so it wasn't as great from what I remember, but I'm going to reread it anyway at some point and do a video review, again, God willing. This next book here, again, is something I collected. It's one of the things I picked up this whole box set for, or lot, again, whatever. Because I saw this in there. This book has no meaning to me. I don't like the book. I think the book sucks. I did a review on it, pretty much just ranted and tore it apart. I think it's one of the weakest Goosebumps books ever. Of course, it is number 3, though, from the old classic series, Monster Blood. This is in fantastic condition. I'm glad to have it as a collector once again. That's it. I don't have any reason to love this book. It's a cool book. I love the cover color scheme, like the orange and the blue. I love the picture from Tim Jacobus on the cover. It's a beautiful looking book. Apparently the only 2 that I have left of these large print hardcovers to get, as far as I know from the hardcovers, is the first 2. You know, Welcome to Dead House and Stay Out of the Basement. That's apparently all the ones that I have left. I've got 8 of these so far. And again, I've looked through all of them, including that Ghost Next Door, which is number 10 out of the 10 that have been produced. As far as I can tell, there is nothing else after that. I might be wrong about that, but from what I can tell from that book, there was nothing else coming out before, because these books previous to that all had number 10. Like, they had 10 listed and that was it. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there are any more. If there are, please let me know. If you happen to be collecting these, please let me know. I love talking to people who collect the hardcovers as well, because we're like the only people on the planet who care about this or want them. Because Goosebumps books are already hard to find here in America in thrift stores. They never have anything. I can't find anything at any of my Goodwills. I'm assuming, like I said in a previous video a long time ago where I ranted about this topic, that people that work in my local Goodwills are not stealing these things, but putting these things aside to buy on their breaks. I'm convinced that's what's happening in my local area, because my Goodwills never have anything. I talk to people all the time who find stuff at Goodwill and find stuff in thrift shops. I have not found anything anywhere in any of my locations. I have tons of both thrift stores and Goodwill. I never find anything. I don't mean to rehash that whole argument and that whole rant, but it still bothers me. I can't find any of that stuff, so I can't imagine how hard a hardcover Goosebumps book is probably to find. That bothers me even more. Anyway, the next one is one that I'm very excited about. It's in beautiful, beautiful condition. Say Cheese and Die. This is one I'm really looking forward to. My plan for this summer when it comes to my reading order. Again, God willing that I'm alive and I can read and review and all that stuff. Of course, I'll be married at the time, so reviewing is going to kind of slow down a little bit. I don't know about how much video content I'll get out during the summer. I am getting married in April, God willing, once again. So, Say Cheese and Die is one of those things I plan on trying to get around to, because I'm also simultaneously I'm reading the Horrorland series. Not all the way through for the summer or anything, but the next book in that franchise I think is Who's Your Mummy, which is a mummy book. I plan on reading all the mummy books, and then whatever's left building up to the Say Cheese and Die Screaming Again, I think is the title. Whatever that third Say Cheese and Die book is, I'm going to read all of the Say Cheese and Die books before I do that book in that Horrorland series. Because I like to read these. These come across to me, from what I remember of the TV episodes, the two-parters they did, but not really two-parters, they were kind of two standalone stories that didn't have the same kid playing the first main character. The first story, the one that's based off of this, the first episode has Ryan Gosling in it, playing the main character, which is kind of cool. I love Ryan Gosling. But, I don't know what the third book is about. I'm assuming it's the same general type thing, but that's my whole general idea of what I'm going to do for the reading for this summer. I'm not really sure how long that's going to take. There's a lot of mummy books. There's The Dummy versus the Mummy, or Dummy Meets the Mummy, whatever it is now, from Slappy World. I'm excited about that. I cannot wait to read that book. There's so many cool things, dude, I can't wait to talk about. But yeah, Say Cheese and Die, very, very excited about this. Very good looking book. It's just in perfect condition. I cannot believe with how old these would be, from like 92 and 93. That these books are in fantastic condition. Whoever sent me this book set, lot, whatever, from eBay, took care of these things, man. Now this one, speaking of the Mummy, I'm very excited about. The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I got a large print hardcover of this. Library binding. These library bindings feel so sturdy, dude. When I open them and look through them, they look so great. Again, huge print. A little bit of marking up in here. Not a whole lot. Not really many scratches on the cover or anything. I'm excited about this. I'm really excited to talk about these. Again, it's so weird to be having these massive books. Massive, massive Goosebumps books. I can't wrap my head around that. Again, I'll show you for reference. Let's see, I'll put it right in the corner here. Look at that. Look at how big these things are compared to these regular Goosebumps books down here. It's so freaking bizarre, man. And the last book I have is one I actually just finished reviewing. I loved this book so much that when I saw this on eBay, I immediately bought the box set, because it kind of completed my idea of all these books here before I realized they were large print hardcovers and they might be worth something at some point. I went ahead and bought this. I just reviewed this book the other day. Same cover design and everything. Let's Get Invisible. Really good book. Not perfect, but a really, really good book. I recommend it tremendously. I talked about it in my review. I thought it was a really big surprise of a book. Very atmospheric, very eerie. Anyway, folks, that does it for this week's book haul. Again, I might have a Things Like Goosebumps book haul coming up, possibly Saturday or Sunday. I'm not really sure. It's going to be like 4 books. They're all part of the same franchise. Maybe you'll be able to, speculate on what you think they're going to be. I don't know. I think you'll have fun. I think it's something that'll be cool to talk about. I'm excited for this new series. I'm not going to try to go out of my way to collect all of these coming up that I'm going to talk about, but I don't know. I'm excited to find some more things to talk about that are kind of like Goosebumps, just because I like to expand the channel a little bit. You can find a lot of people who like a lot of things that they don't realize are like Goosebumps, or things that are in common. They already like Goosebumps, they don't realize they'll like this too. One of the biggest recommendations I constantly give people all the time is that people ask me constantly, what is a show that's very much like Goosebumps? Would you say The X-Files, Twilight Zone? What would you say? Those are not bad choices, even though X-Files is more episodic, but also kind of a timeline, same characters, everything else. Typical TV show. Twilight Zone are standalone episodes of TV shows with Rod Serling taking care of things, doing the host stuff. Tales from the Dark Side, I constantly recommend to people all the time. I think it is the 80s version of Goosebumps. It really feels like it. It's not a perfect show. It's kind of stupid sometimes, kind of horrible sometimes, but when it has a really great episode, it knocks it out of the park, man. There's stuff like that that I like to talk about, that I like to recommend to people, especially people who watch my videos for a long amount of time, that want more things kind of like this. What if there's somebody that comes to the channel who's read every single Goosebumps book and doesn't know about some of the stuff like Tales from the Dark Side or Twilight Zone or Tales from the Crypt or whatever, and they don't know about that stuff and they want something new to watch or read or whatever? I can provide that. So I'm excited for that kind of stuff. Maybe you guys will like what I get this week in the weekend book haul video. Again, God willing, I'm allowed to make it. I hope you'll have fun. I hope you had fun with this video. Let me know down below what you think about these big, large print books. Do you know anything about them? I don't know anything about these. I have looked everywhere on the internet. Nobody even has like sites talking about hardcovers. They might be selling them, but they're not talking about them. Like, people not discussing like what happened to these. Why don't they make hardcovers? You know, stuff like that. They could totally make so much more money off of this. I love hardcovers, particularly. I love Goosebumps being in paperback, but I love hardcovers for collector's purposes, for books that I love. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate it so much. I'm sorry to drop this on you in the middle of the week. I just thought maybe you'd appreciate it. Maybe it'd lighten your week up if you're having a bad week. For whatever reason, if I, for whatever reason, can possibly make you happier. I don't know how, but hey, if it happens, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.